WebCab has developed a series of software and solutions for the woodworking industry, an industry that is very important to us.
We started a business 20 years ago by being resellers of engineering software. We started in the woodworking industry without knowing nothing about that industry. But working with our customer, they really shared us their passion about their factory. As the time passed by, we really realized that customer has specific issues that they needed to solve, but there was nothing really built for the woodworking industry. And this is where we really started at WebCab doing our own software. WebCab is based really in three types of solutions. So we have a solution to work into the production level, solve also issues with the planning level, and also with the inventory. Every of these software works together, but can work independently. So we're not obligating people to work with all of their solutions, and they can grow as they're going through with this. And we build interface to simplify the work of the people using it.
We want to do each and every baby step to make sure the customer is getting quick benefits and then can go to the next step. And it is to go one step at a time.
Our goal here is really to allow customer to automate their manufacturing process.
One of the very important elements of WebCab's DNA is our team. We surround ourselves only with the best. We want to make sure everyone wants to help this industry and make it better. 60% of what we develop comes from customer ideas or suggestions, and the remaining 40% comes from pure internal innovation initiatives, research, and development.
WebCab is still going to continue investing in the research and development.
We have to really continue to listen to customers and understand the market needs, but also stay very close to any new technologies entering this world, and there's plenty of them. We have to understand them and adapt them so that they can help this industry grow. WebCab is already established in several countries. And since automation is a crucial need across the globe, we're continuing to expand our territory to help both the community and the wood industry grow.
We want the woodworking industry to be a model in the manufacturing industry.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us today for our webinar on planning assistance. My name is Sarah Wolverton. I'm Director of Sales and Strategic Partnerships for WebCab. I'm joined today by Selene Savali, our Integration and Product Specialist.
Good afternoon, everyone.
So today's session will be an interactive session. You'll notice on your toolbar, there's a Q&A section. So if you have any questions at all or would like to go a little more in depth on any of the subjects we're addressing, please feel free to ask your questions all along the way. Before we get going on our exact product, I'm just going to touch again a little bit on who WebCab is. So WebCab serves specifically the kitchen and bathroom cabinet industry, more specifically, actually, sorry, the woodworking industry. And we serve principally the 5 market spaces that you see on the screen here. So our solutions are really designed specifically for the need of the woodworking industry. We do not service any other industries. We've been in the woodworking industry for over 20 years now. We started out in our early days, and you may have heard this in the video already, so I'm sorry for those of you who did see that video, but we started out as a reseller of a CAD/CAM product. And in working with our customers, we quickly realized that there were specific needs that could not be addressed by any of the existing softwares, or they were maybe partially addressed by what we call a vanilla type software. But we really wanted to provide tools specific for the workers on woodworking production shop floors with tools, again, that would help them in their day-to-day. So this is how Production Assistant, for those of you who are joining us maybe from the US, Production Assistant and Production Coach is exactly the same software. We just have a different branding in the US. So when we talk about Production Assistant, just know that it is the same as Production Coach. So we launched Production Assistant in 2010. All while doing so, we continue to develop what we're going to review today, our Planning Assistant. And just last year, we launched our Inventory Assistant. I mentioned it before that our production assistant was developed by listening to people and their needs in the industry. And that's a philosophy that we adhere to still today. So every year we have new releases, new features, new modules, even new products, and those are all developed 60% based on what we hear from our customer and product prospects in the field. So what I mean by that is, for example, on our support team, if they hear I don't know, from a number of customers that this specific feature, if it could really do this, it would really help us. Well, we'll put that into our development team, and maybe not right away, but eventually it will be a feature that we release. The other 40% of our products are based on technological innovation. So our development team is, always looking in other industries, in our own industry, seeing what's happening in there, and what could be new, how we could apply it to our industry. So a WebCAD is based just outside of Montreal, Canada. I do apologize, I have a bit of a cold, so I may resort to drinking a lot of water. And so we serve the North American market, more specifically here in Canada and the US. We have a distributor in France, and most recently we developed the Australian market. So a little bit about our tools, or what we like to refer as our ecosystem. Planning assistant, so there's obviously in a business, as you all know, I'm not teaching you anything here, but there's certain spheres that we need to cover. And this is really the ecosystem that WebCAD covers. So we planner everything when you start a project, from the planning phase up until the inventory phase on the production floor, really providing tools to the workers so that they can get their job done, and right up to, I guess, the delivery and installation. So providing tracking tools once you've delivered that on site to make sure that everything was delivered, and then giving the possibility to the installers as well to call, for example, a damaged part, etc. Outside of the WebCAD ecosystem, we do realize that there are other systems that you need as a business, such as your CRM, your accounting software, possibly an ERP, etc. That's not where our specialty lies. We do realize that, and we made a business decision early on to really focus on our strength, which is, again, production tools. So you'll notice that all our software are really geared towards the production thinking a little more maybe than the administrative thinking, but we do realize that there may be a need to pass data back and forth between those various platforms, or that you may need to connect to an exterior source. So we do have a solution that can help you achieve that. And as such, we really adhere to the best of breed solutions. What I mean by best of breed solution is go out there, find the best accounting software that suits you, whether it be, I don't know, QuickBooks, ZollBooks, there's so many softwares out there, or it's CRM, Salesforce, again, Zoll CRM, and we'll be able to pass data through to our systems with our data integration platform. So I mentioned where we're going to focus today in our ecosystem is Planning Assistant. Just to kick off, before we kick off the demonstration of our Planning Assistant, I would like to launch just a little quiz to find out what you are currently using in your business to do your planning. If I can just get that quiz to please note that all the answers in this quiz are anonymous, so no one will see what you're seeing, but it's just to get an idea of what our attendees today are using. I apologize, I seem to not. There we go. There we go. So I have launched now that quiz. So do you currently use Excel, Google Calendar, Trello? I don't use any planning software whatsoever, or I'm using another software that we have not mentioned here. Well, I guess we may need to do just a little more market research. So then, as 60% of our attendees today said they're using another software currently. The next runner-up, we have a lot of people using Google, and the third runner-up would be Excel. So, planning assistant, let's get going before I pass the mic to Saren, which will probably help me rest my voice. Again, I apologize for the coughing. But in today's demonstration, we'll find out how Planning Assistant will help you stay on top of your project deadlines, manage your factory's capacity, which is very important to most of our customers, and a feature that's quite unique to our software, where you can view your capacities and adjust them corresponding to the way you need to flatten out your production line. And most importantly, ensure that all the departments are aligned when change happens. So we'll just now go into Planning Assistant, and I will pass the mic over to Saren so she can give you an overview of the system. Again, just before we get going, I remind you of the Q&A section at the bottom of your screen. Please feel free to ask any questions as they come to mind. If we're going to get into something a little later, I'll just mention that. But as things come to mind, please don't hesitate. Over to you, Saren.
Thank you, Sarah. Good rest. Here we are in the main interface of Planning Assistant. So what we have actually in the middle section is our calendar, of course. You can see it by month right here, and let's put this over here. Okay, you can see it by month, and you have different views available, like week, work week, the day, or list of your work orders. You are also able to see the progresses that you would like to. You don't need to have all the progresses here checked. What is a progress? It's like one of your tasks, let's say in the office section, like the drawings, what you need to buy for, like the doors, the hardware and those kind of things, or a production task also. So this is what you find here on your left side. And you're also able to, let me just put this back, your delivery and your installation also. So those are the three information that you can have in the main section of Planning Assistant. On the left side, you have our menu. So you have also different views, like my calendar that you have right here. You also have my work orders. This is something we're going to go through just in a while. So it's exactly a list of all the work orders that you have inside of your calendar with different details that you can find in the main interface of my calendar. So we have also the capacities. These are a dashboard that you can see depending on the progress that you would like to see. We have the module Maestro, which is an add-on module to Planning Assistant. And we have, of course, the configuration. We're not going to go that deep inside of the configuration, but we'll just go through the progresses and the template so that we can explain how we work with Planning Assistant. So how does, at the main purpose of Planning Assistant, how does it work? How do we get our events and tasks created inside of Planning Assistant? It's really with the back scheduling. So what is the back scheduling? It's we refer to a date, let's say the shipping date or the installation date. And from this date, we are going to schedule all the tasks, all the production tasks, the office tasks that need to be done for a project before that special date. So let's say we can even go into one of our templates so that we can see it better and we can explain it better also. So I'm just going to click here on my template, and we're going to go through, let's say, the melamine one. Let's go edit. Okay, here we go. So Sarah, are we in, which section are we in? Yeah, assembly, CNC. Yeah, we're good. Drawers. Okay, we're good. I get some French words inside of it, so that's okay. So I'm sorry. Okay, we'll go through the melamine template. So all the progresses that you can see here, custom, engineering, CNC, and everything, all the progress here, those are a configuration that you can make that we are going to even make with you guys. We're going to help you with it. So it's something that can be just configured before going through the templates. And so here we have a Melamine template that you can add also depending on the way that you work and what you have as work orders. We're able to create different templates for you guys. So right here, how does it work? So we are working with the delivery date as the main date. So from there, we will need to have our work cut, our project cut 8 days before our delivery date. The edge bending needs to be done 7 days before the delivery date. Exactly the same for the drawers, the sorting, the assembly, and all the different steps from a work order. What you can also see, this is what we have here for the customer satisfaction. We have -3. What does it mean when it's a minus instead of a plus that you have above? It's going to be after the delivery date. As it's the customer satisfaction, you're going to call your customer and have an event to remind you that you need to call your customer after your installation and or delivery, depending of what you want to choose. And it's going to be afterwards so that you can have his feeling about how was his installation or delivery. So this is how we can create different templates inside of Planning Assistant. So depending on the way you work, you have different templates. And also we have inside of one template, we're able to have different type of work orders. So this is what we have here with the rush, commercial, residential. So this is what we have here. It's going to be the same task that you need to do, but the dates may differ. So they can be different. If it's a rush project type, in that case, we're going to have shorter dates for each task that we need to do, each steps. So this is how also we're able to create different work order types. Sorry. So what's good also with the back scheduling, it's that everything, all our steps are linked together. So if we need to move one of our steps, depending if we're too late or if we're early in our production, in that case, we're going to be able to move everything together. So how we're going to be able to see it more more deeper, let's say, we're going to create a work order together and we're going to see how it's working. So right here, let's create our webinar order. In our templates, we are going to choose the Melamine project type. We're not using it for today, but we didn't enter any dates, any different dates of the Melamine one. So we're just going to use the Melamine template. You're going to be able also to choose different project manager, contractor, the group, the room name. So depending of your project, if it's like I don't have my word in English, Sarah, help me. Like tour à condo.
If you're building a big apartment building, for example.
Yes, thank you.
Welcome.
So you can create a group with the main name and inside and regroup all your work orders inside of the same group. So you're going to be able to use it like this if you need. Here you have your client customer information. So this is something that if you're using only Planning Assistant, you're going to be able to write all the information in that section. And if you are also using Production Assistant or Production Coach, you're going to be able to synchronize both softwares together. And as soon as you're going to import your job inside of Production Assistant, all your customer information, if you're importing them inside of Production Assistant, of course, you're going to be able to synchronize them with Planning Assistant. So all of your information will be synchronized right here. Regarding our dates, you're able to choose the production date, delivery, of course, and installation date. You can also add a shipper or installer, but in our case, we're not going to use it because we would like to go and show you afterwards how you can do it easily, how you can manage your shippers and installers. We already have a question,
We
Sarah?
do.
Okay.
If we have repeat customers, can we build up a library to quickly pre-fill these client details?
Um, well, with Planning Assistant, no, you can't. But I know that with Windows, like, I mean, if you're on Windows, if I click on right here and go, we have pre-saved, information, so it can just pre-fill for you guys. So if you're used to entering that kind of same information, you'll be able to have it inside of your list. But this goes with Microsoft, with Windows, and not really with Planning Assistant.
But, and also again, as Saran mentioned, if you were using Production Assistant, for example, that information could be pulled through from Production Assistant into Planning Assistant. Another, and I'm going a little far out here on my use cases, but we do have customers who are syncing, using our data integration platform that I mentioned at the beginning, and who are syncing their CRM information with Planning Assistant. So as soon as they confirm an order in their CRM, all the data, maybe not all the data, but anyways, the data that they want to see is populated in Planning Assistant. So those are two ways that can be done.
Great, thank you, Sarah. So in our case, we're just going to change the delivery date and also the installation date. So let me put it back through July. Let's say we want to deliver on the 11th of July, and right here, we're going to install it in Monday 15th. So after, you'll just go to the next step. So here we are coming at our capacities values for our project. So with Planning Assistant, like Sarah was telling you, the capacities are really, really important because it's going to help you to schedule all your production in office or inside of your shop. So, and there's two sections where you need to really fill up those values. So the first one will be inside of each progress. Well, it's going to be the progress is, if it's in your production, it's going to be your station, your steps inside of your shop. So it's really to go and to notify that what is the maximum quantity, let's say, of sheet quantity that you can cut at the CNC through a day. Exactly the same thing for the product, for the assembly station, for example. How many cabins are you able to assemble during a day? So it's really the maximum capacity, the minimum and really maximum, which is more important, that you need to fill up for each progresses. And once this is done, when you create your work order inside of Planning Assistant, you will really need to add that information inside of Planning Assistant also in your project. So this is going to show you for our next step if you are over or under capacity for the dates that your template will schedule your work order. So in our case, I'm just going to put for the products, I'm going to put for that, let's say 20 products for that work order. Let's say our parts will be 80 parts, and our sheet quantity will be 40 sheets. So let's go through those kinds of values here, and we're gonna go through our next step. So here we are, so depending of the template that you've chosen just before, it will tell you if, the dates that have been determined for each of your steps. They are right here. So you have your start date for each steps, and you have also here your capacity. So if you see like a red icon that you have right here, that means that you are over capacity. So right here, you are supposed to be able to cut 20 sheets a day, but for this work order right here, you need 40 sheets to be cut. So what can be done is, so you have that information coming up. You can change your date by going like up and down on the days that are scheduled with the template, or you can just remember that you will maybe need 2 or 3 days to cut your job for at the CNC Melamin station. So it's just an information coming up and explaining you what if you're over or under capacity. In our case right here, we've noticed that the CNC Melamin, you may need more than a day. or you're going to schedule overtime. So this is something that you'll have to take action on. We're just going to keep what we have right here, and we're just going to click on finish. So now we have our information, your work order that has been created correctly inside of Planning Assistant. So you have our little pop-up that comes up right on the right upper corner. What I'm going to do, I'm going to search for my work order now, right here. So I'm just looking for it because we're able, of course, to search for our work orders without having all the information inside of Planning Assistant or too many information. We're not seeing anything for the moment, but that's normal. I haven't chosen any progresses. So let me just click on all and let me go through my months.
I think we were starting in June.
We were starting, yes, absolutely. Thank you.
We're
We
looking
have our legend.
We're looking forward to summer, so we're starting in June.
Oh yeah, definitely. So we're in June right here. I have expand my legend that you have on the left side so that we can see exactly what's happening. So we have the engineering on the 27th of June, and all the other steps are all the other days well scheduled, like our template has been configured. So all our events are going to be added automatically depending of the days that we have scheduled in our template. What I wanted to show you on this one here is that you can, let me just be sure. Yes, you can go on one of, on each of your template, not our templates, on each of your events. And if you are at the office and you're using Planning Assistant, you will need to start and complete your task depending on what you're working on. So let's say that you're at the engineering task and you are already starting your work on it. You can just click, you select your work order here, your task, and you click on start. So right here, you will see that you have the date at which your job has been started at the engineering. Once you're done also working on your job, you're going to be able to just click on complete right here. So it's as soon as you're done, yes, it's going to ask you if you have steps before that your step, you're actually working on it, if you want to complete those steps for them. So in our case, I'm not going to complete them. And we're going to see here that the engineering has been done on the 28th of February. So we have like a date stamp that is marked on your step to just to have that information inside of your work order. So just before we had a 0% right here marked, and with Planning Assistant, you can just have like 0 or 100% as soon as you're done. But if you're linked with Production Assistant, you're going to be able to have a better, a percentage more accurate, because we're going to work with the scans that are made inside of your shop. So each time they're going to scan, it's going to go progressively inside of your percentage that you have right here. And you're going to have really the exact progress of your status of your step in your shop because it's going to be synchronized and work with the scan. So those are two ways that we can have our task completed. Did I forget something on that side, Sarah?
Nope, that's perfect.
Nope. Okay. Okay. So now what we're gonna do also, when we created the work order at the beginning, I didn't add any installer or shipper. So I'm just going to show you how we're gonna be able to schedule our delivery and installation. So if we go, I'm just gonna this. Okay, if we go right here, we have in the main view, we have our calendar and we also have our quick view. So right here, we have all our progresses that are showing up right here. I'm just gonna take them off. You can also use the progress to see inside of your quick view, but in our case right here, we're just gonna use the delivery and also the shipping area. Here you go. So what we have right here, we have the unassigned installation and also unassigned delivery. So this is really the both when you don't know who's going to deliver or who's going to install your project, there will be unassigned. So you'll have that information inside that unassigned section. Let me just go at the end. Let me just go at where I've just.
Delivery was in July.
Thank you. You're following. That's good.
I am. Yes, I thought it was. There
There
it is.
you go. I got it here. I think I got the other one on the Monday. Okay, awesome. So right here, unassigned delivery. So which is great because okay, we are when we created the project, we didn't know yet, but now okay, we know exactly who is going to make the delivery or the installation. But this is great because you're going to be able to see that on the 11th of July they don't have any work orders already scheduled or any installation or delivery schedule. So you're going to be able to just drag and drop your work order and say that this webinar work order will be shipped by the truck of our company. So on our own. So this can be just drag and drop. If he had something already scheduled for that day, it will be just in front of you. So you will be able to see it and just in that case, change the date because he will be already overloaded on that date. So exactly the same thing for all the we had the delivery at the bottom, sorry, and the installations at the top. So we're going to be able to do exactly the same thing. Let's go with my webinar work order will be installed by Sylvain Charpentier. So you'll have that information really by a drag and drop, and you're going to be able to schedule all your deliveries and installation. Yes, Sarah.
Well, two things. I think it's important to mention as well that when we're scheduling, because when we configure our either delivery and or installers, we can enter an email for them. So when we schedule for them something for them, apologies, they will actually receive an email saying, hey, Webcam has scheduled a job for you on July 11th. But how does the system react to then when, say, for example, our installer, Sylvain here, didn't schedule something in the calendar and calls us back, maybe it's easier with the delivery, but says, sorry, I didn't put it in the calendar, but I really can't do your job on the 11th. Can we move it to the 12th?
That's a good question. You want to be able to just move it around?
I think, yeah, because right, we just drag and drop it to the next day and it'll
exactly. We don't need to do anything else, but just a drag and drop because if we didn't see that he has already scheduled a delivery on that date, we can really drag and drop. So we're going to be able to take it right here and say that he's going to be able to install it on the July 14th. So really just by a drag and drop, you're able to change the delivery and installation. And also, as soon as you're going to move one of your installation or delivery, he's going to receive an email telling him that his date has been changed, has been rescheduled. So he'll have that information also inside of the email that he's going to receive.
perfect.
Okay. So that was for the installer and deliverer. What we're going to do now is go inside of my work orders that we have right here on the left side and show you how this works here. We do not have any. Let me just look at this. Okay, here we go. So I've already showed you the filters, but I'll just go and explain you. So right here, we don't have any filters. We have everything shown. So these are absolutely all the work orders that we have actually in Planning Assistant. So we really have a lot of information right here, and you're even able to choose what you would like to see as an information inside of your columns. So right here on the upper right corner, you have all the columns that are available to be shown, displayed or not. So you can definitely choose what you need to see. Also, for each of your work orders, you are able to see the detail of each station, each task that are supposed to be done. So you have the percentage that we had, at the beginning in the My Calendar view, you have the exact same information here. And you, like we were telling you, we have a 0 to 100% for the planning assistant task when you click on start and complete. And we have the accurate percentage coming from product assistant if you're synced with it. What we are able to also do from here is to be able to, let me just click on detail, to filter all your work orders. So right here, you're able to have your work order types, your group, if you have a lot of work orders related to the same group. You have the room, the contractor. You can also have your client name. So if all of your information is correctly entered inside of each of your work orders, you're going to be able to apply filters and have a better way to see your project and summary. And I think it's it for this one here. You can even go, once you apply your filters, you can even go ascendant or descendant for each of your column that you have here. So you can even regroup, let's say per delivery date or installation date if you need to.
Yeah, it's customers really like this. The feedback I get sent in is customers really like this as a quick glance. The calendar is fantastic. You can get a good idea of your capacities and your scheduling. But if you wanted a list view of, what are you delivering next week or next month, they really like the filtering features here, and it's easier for them to view it in a list type of thing, and also gives them an idea of the current status of advancement. So it's a interesting, easier to manage possibly view than the calendar one.
Absolutely. And you can even, in this view right here, you can even copy a project and create a new one just by, if it's kind of exactly the same project, but a different stage, well, you can just copy it and change the name if you want. So this is something that you can do also right here on this in this view here. Afterwards, we're going to go through our capacities. So like I was telling you, really important to have your capacities correctly entered inside of your progress and also inside of each of your work order. Oh, this is absolutely perfect. So let me just take out this one. And we have this one just above. Okay, here we go. So what you have actually here is what the lines with the dots. This is the sheet quantity capacity though. So this is going to be really for each of your days. So this is the minimum and maximum capacity that you have. Well, it's more the maximum capacity that you have for each of your days. And what you have with the standard line right here, those are your work orders that are created inside of Planning Assistant. So you're going to be able to see just by a quick view like this. You can even choose your date range right here. So if you want to be in during 2 months or next week or only next month, but you can absolutely change your date range here. And you can even choose your work order type here. So you can even filter out by work order type. So as a quick, sorry, you wanted to say something already? So you can see really fast that if you're over capacity, right here we're not, but I know that if you were just above, just by click on the little dot that you have here, you're gonna be able to see what's going on, what's happening during that day, what work order is already created, and how many sheets in our case this is going to be for the CNC, how many sheets are supposed to be cut at on that day. So if you're over capacity and you can see that the next day you have more space, more availabilities, you're going to be able to extend your work order for your task for the CNC station. So you're going to be able to extend it into 2 days or 3 days, depending of what you need to do to be under your capacities.
Yeah, and we recently pushed this capacity dashboard with a customer. This particular customer does a lot of big apartment buildings, so large condo complexes, etc., and wanted to have a view a few months in advance of, well, if I get the specific job, so you have your book jobs and you have the ones you're bidding for. If I get this job that I'm bidding for, what's that going to do to my capacity, and can I actually fit it in? So what we did for her is we created a job type that was, say, estimated or bidded or whatever he wanted to call it. And then using the work order type, we could add those jobs into this graph so she could easily see how the capacity would be affected. So there are ways as well that we can push the system a little bit so you can get a view of the future and see what if you get what you're bidding on, what that would mean.
Absolutely.
This is an
Thank you,
example
Sarah.
of a use case.
Yeah, but well, we're gonna finish on your case, on your use case for the capacities. So now we're gonna go through Maestro that is also working with the capacities.
Yes, sorry. Any questions on what you've seen so
Oh, yeah.
far? Everyone's being pretty quiet out there. Either we're doing a good job, Selen, or we made everyone fall asleep. Hopefully it's the first option and not the
Yeah,
second.
let's stay with the first one, please.
Okay, then. Well, let me just take that control here. Okay. So what we've seen so far is very administrative kind of management tools on how to manage capacities, schedule the jobs, etc. So of course, the second portion of this is, well, how do I tell my employees what they're supposed to be working on? And I know it tends to be somewhat of an issue on not necessarily setting the priorities, but sometimes communicating them, because we know things change as well. And I'm sure some of you on this webinar spend their day going down to the shop floor and saying, no, don't work on this, because there are changing priorities. So how we've done that, so a very powerful portion of our planning assistant is the section here that we call Maestro. I like to think of Maestro as I'll stop right here and answer that question. What kind of database does WebCab have to integrate with our ERP database? Do you want to take that one, Selen?
Yeah, I like that.
Okay, so as I explained at the beginning of the call, we call it our data integration platform. So it's a third party that we work very closely with, and it's an application basically that will come and manipulate data. And so it can connect to your ERP, it can take data from your ERP and push it into one of our systems, or on the contrary, it can send information from our system to that system. So it's basically what we call a data integration platform. You could think of a Zapier, but obviously we're a little stronger than a Zapier, because the force of this integration platform is it can really manipulate data. What I mean by that is, I mean, it's easy enough. Our development team wouldn't like me saying that. A lot of platforms can pass data through one API to another, but what ours does is it really translates it. So for example, let's say in the capacities, if for some reason you were using a somewhat complex formula to calculate the value of your projects, well, we could translate that and then push it into Planning Assistant with the value of the project. I hope that answers your question. If it doesn't, feel free to ask again. Excuse me, I'm just going to take a drink of water. So Maestro, I think that answered the question. Maestro is usually what we see our customers displaying on the shop floor so that the operators at each station know their priorities. So what Maestro does, he goes into your Planning Assistant calendar. He looks at all those jobs, then based on the business rules that you've told him that you want to use, he establishes the priorities at every progress or workstation. And I do apologize again, it seems that some French has creeped into our demonstration today. We will explain what that means. So what I'm seeing here is at the assembly station, today my assembler should start working on WC2. And then once that job is done, he should start working on WC3, etc., etc. How we're doing that, I mentioned that before. It's based on your business rules. So if I just go quickly into the configuration, we're not going to go very deep into this, but just want to show you and I give you an idea. Show you an example. So we've told, it's better now, we need one. It's perfect. So at our CNC, we've told Maestro for this particular station, look through again, all the work orders, all the projects that are in the calendar. And prioritize them based on operation date. What is the operation date? Based on your back scheduling template, that's the day that you're supposed to start a task. So that seems pretty obvious, right? But it's quite possible that you may have 2 work orders, 2 jobs that are due to start on, say, tomorrow. So Maestro will then go look at a second priority, which here we've determined, as you can see, is the attributes. So the attributes are the example number of sheets in a job. And you can even tell him, well, I want to prioritize my attributes starting with the job with the most sheets or the job with the less sheets. That again, it depends on how you want to manage. Another really interesting one that we can use, and we often see keywords placed as number 1. Here it's placed as number 3, but again, depends on your preferences. Keywords could be if you have a rework to be done or a service call to be done, and you always want those to be passed first generally, right? Because customers waiting on it or anyways. So if you have a work order with the name service job in it, it would send that job to the top of it. Close if I just go back into Maestro here. So again, where every worker knows what he should be working on. We also have what we call a progress dependence, and you can see here at my assembly, I'm calculating it on based on a progress dependency. What that means is that I'm basically spying on the one or a few of the stations before, and I'm telling it, well, until you've achieved a certain percentage at the station before, it shouldn't be a priority. So what I'm seeing here, when I click on my WC2, which should be my next priority at the assembly, this job in here flashes up in red saying, oh, you haven't achieved that progress capacity to measure it. So it allows the worker to then go down the chain and say, well, can we help you? Can we do something? Because now I'm stuck. I don't have anything else to work on. If things change in real time in the calendar, obviously Maestro updates itself as well. But as a production manager, if you wanted to say, okay, well, they're not done WC2, so I'm just going to bump up WC3. Hoping that one's makes sense here. Doesn't quite. You can just drag and drop. Another interesting feature of Maestro is you could put maintenance reminders in it. So I don't know if it's happened to anyone on the call here that they've lost a sheet of melamine because they didn't change the tools in time. But we're trying to help you out with that. So as you can see here, it's in a different color as well so that the operators can recognize it easily. We've told Maestro, we'll look in our values that we've set in our project/work orders. And every time that I hit 50 sheets, which may be a little excessive, but anyways, for example, we want to see it often. Every time I hit a certain number of sheets, I want the next task for my operator to be to change the tool. And obviously, once he's done that, or I'm on your job here, we also have 2 options. We can start the job like Selen showed before, but then we can also complete it and it moves on to the next station. Again, if you're using Production Assistant, this will happen automatically with the scanning. So in a nutshell, Maestro really helps you to set the priorities for your employees working on, well, I say the shop floor, but it could be office as well. And that's all I had on Maestro. I think we've covered everything we had today. We went through that a little bit fast. A lot to take in, guys. We can give you a few moments to think of any questions if you want.
I think we've seen everything. Have it
Oh,
all on yourself.
Maybe I'll just show something that I do like showing here while we wait for a few questions. It is also possible to send emails. So I went into the configuration here just to give you an idea. But we could send emails to external parties. They don't necessarily need a planning assistance license as soon as a progress has been achieved. So I could say every time any work order goes through sanding, I would like Selen to receive an email to let her know that it has been through sanding. So that's an interesting feature. You could, I mean, you could use it with your contractors. It could be use it with your delivery people to let them know, okay, well, it's technically already scheduled, but just to give them another reminder, hey, this is now this is being assembled. So, you know, we'll respect our delivery date, for example. Just a few example of use cases.
We didn't talk about even also, the block days inside of Planning Assistant and even the weekends.
Very, very true. I will let you take that over because I feel like I'm about to go into a
Okay.
call again.
No problem. So yeah, we're able to block days to be able to let's say you're in holidays like for a week, let's say for Christmas, you're gonna be able to block a whole week for the holidays. Just like making a right click here and create blocker event. So that can be done for your whole week of holidays. So that means that as soon as you're gonna create a work order inside a Planning Assistant, it will just jump over those days that have been blocked and schedule all the other events after those days. So this can be done for holidays. The weekend, you don't need to block anything. This is something that you can configure directly inside of your templates. So you can ask, well, you can tell that you are working during your weekend or not. So in that case, if you're not, it will just jump over on Monday and won't create any events on Saturdays or Sundays. So this is something you can add inside of the configuration. So it's also important that you don't have events created during a day that you're not that you're not working. So that can be also done inside of planning. No
Perfect.
questions?
Well, I guess if there are no further questions then, oh. Is there a cap or limit on how many events / work orders can appear on a schedule at a time?
At a schedule in the main interface of Planning Assistant, or
I
well,
think
no,
in
because
general. Is there a,
like in a day you will have you can only see like 5 events, but if you have more than 5, or I don't remember the number exactly, but if you have more, yeah, exactly. Well, right here you have that information at the bottom on the 29th of February. You have 4 and more. So if you have other work orders that you don't see inside of that little square of your day right here, you can just extend the list and you'll have all the events inside of your day.
but that's just for one day. So if the question is more around, is there a limit to the number of jobs you can have in your calendar? The answer is
Oh, no. No, absolutely not. No.
um,
And if you want to have a better view, well, you already have the work order view where you can really see everything as listed, but right here you can also have it. If you put it as a list, you're going to be able to have all your work orders also and your events created here. Another question?
good question. How many people can access the program at one time? So at the same time. Well, at one time, yes.
Okay. So at the same time you'll have to have one license, one user per access. So if you need to have like 3 in the office and 5 in your shop, in that case you'll need to have for each of your user a different access. But we don't have any maximum. It depends of the license that you have purchased at the beginning.
Yeah, and we didn't go at all into the user configuration, but each progress, you can determine if a user gets to, like, for example, I always go back to the CNC, I apologize, I don't know why, but that's just the example I always use. If you wanted your CNC operator to have a license, and obviously you might not want him to see what's going on in the office or even at assembly and shipping, et cetera, you can per user say, well, he only gets to see the CNC station, he can edit it, he can edit it, so there are different levels of access that you can give each user. Yes, is mobile access available specifically on iOS, iPad?
One more time, an app for it?
No, not an app, but is mobile access available specifically on iPad?
Well, it's a web app. Well, it's not a web app. It's a web it's web-based, let's say. So it's just a internet page that you open and you type like the address plan .web-cat. So it's really an internet page. So you can open it from an iPad. You can open it from any device that you have, even like your phone, your cell phone. You can also open it on a cell phone because it's really web-based.
Okay, well, thank you for the questions, everyone. Thank you very much for attending. If you have any subsequent questions that come to mind, or if you'd like a personalized demo, don't hesitate to reach out to us. We will also be sending the recording if you want to review any of the information that we discussed today. We do tend to have monthly webinars. Next month's webinar will touch on production assistant / production coach. So you can always follow us on our social medias if you would like to register for that. So thank you very much, Seren.
Thank you,
very
Sarah.
much. Have a great rest of the day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.